Nothing left to me but to concentrate all my attention upon finding out in what my personal cleanliness particularly consisted, which had so far protected me against infection. I then began to deliberate with myself as follows. I do not dress any more cleanly than everybody else living here in Europe. I wash my hands and face every morning also like everybody else. Once a week I make a point of going to a Turkish bath. Also it seems like everyone. And in this way I turned over many things in my mind, and with the result I found nothing in which in this respect I was exceptional. And yet the fact remained that from my loathsome life I of course ran more chances of being infected. From then on my thoughts were guided by two definite convictions, already fully established in me. In the first place, that anyone having relations with such women must inevitably sooner or later be infected, and secondly, that only cleanliness protects one from such infection. In this manner I continued to reflect for a whole week, until I suddenly remembered a certain habit of mine which here in Europe I always scrupulously concealed from my acquaintances. I remembered namely about that habit of mine which is called among us in Persia abdest. This custom of abdest, which according to the notions here might be called ablution, is one of the chief customs among us in Persia. Strictly speaking, every follower of the Mohammedan religion must obey this custom, though it is practiced particularly strictly only by Mohammedans of the Shiite sect. And as almost the whole of Persia is composed of Shiites, the custom is nowhere so widely spread as among us in Persia. This custom is that every adherent of the Shiite sect, male as well as female, must after every toilet unfailingly wash his sex organs. For this purpose, every family has the necessary appurtenances considered among us even as the most important, consisting of a special vessel, a particular kind of bowl called an ibark. And the richer the family, the more of these bowls they must have, since such a bowl must at once and without fail be put at the disposal of every newly arrived guest. I myself was from early childhood also personally accustomed to this habit, and it gradually so entered into my daily life that even when I came here to Europe, where the custom does not exist, I could not live a single day without making this ablution. For instance, it is much easier for me to go without washing my face, even after a debauch, than not to wash certain parts of my body with cold water after the toilet. At present, living here in Europe, I not only have to put up with a great many inconveniences owing to this habit of mine, but I even have to forego some of the modern comfort which I could easily afford. For instance, I now live in Paris, where, owing to my means, I could well afford to live at the very best hotel with every modern comfort. But thanks to this habit of mine, I cannot do this, but am obliged to live in some dirty hotel situated far from the center, and from all those places where I have to be almost every day. In the hotel where I now live, there are no comforts beyond this single comfort, which is very important for me. And this is due to the fact that, being of old construction, this hotel has water closets of the old type and not of the new contemporary American invention. And it is just that old system which is the most convenient and suitable for this habit of mine. It is quite likely that I even half-consciously chose France as my chief dwelling place because it is still possible to find everywhere here, especially in the provinces, water closets of the old system, as among us in Persia. In other countries of Europe, this, as they now call it, Asiatic system, scarcely exists. It has almost everywhere been exchanged for the American system with its comfortable, polished, easy chairs, upon which I, personally, could only rest and read the book called the Decameron. And so, my honorable doctor, when I suddenly remembered this habit of mine, I at once understood without any further doubt that if I had hitherto escaped being infected with some filthy disease, it was solely because I frequently wash my sex organs with cold water. Having said these last words, this sympathetic young Persian extended his arms upwards and with his whole being exclaimed, "Blessed forever be the memory of those who created for us that beneficial custom." He said nothing further for a long while, but looked pensively at a party of Americans sitting nearby who were discussing at that moment whether women dress better in England or in America. And then he suddenly turned to me with the following words: "My highly esteemed and honorable doctor, during my acquaintance with you, I have become quite convinced that you are very well educated and, as is said, very well read. Will you be so kind as to give me your weighty opinion, so that I might at last understand and solve one problem which during recent years has aroused my curiosity, and which, when I am comparatively sober, often arises in me and disturbs my thoughts? The point is that living here in Europe, where people profess the religion whose followers compose almost half the world, I have not up to now come across a single good custom in their ordinary life, whereas among us who profess the Mohammedan religion, there are very many. What is wrong? What is the cause of it? Were there no good ordinances foredesigned by the founder of that great religion for the ordinary life of people, the followers of that religion? Well, my boy, as this young Persian had become sympathetic to me during our acquaintance, I could not refuse him this request, and I decided to explain the question to him, but also, of course, in such a form that he would not even suspect who I was and what was my genuine nature. I told him, "You say that in the religion which half the world professes, and you probably mean the Christian religion, there are not such good customs as in your Mohammedan religion. Are there not? On the contrary, in that religion there were many more good customs than in any of the religions of today. In none of the ancient religious teachings were so many good regulations for ordinary everyday life laid down as in just that teaching on which this same Christian religion was founded. If the followers of this great religion themselves, especially those who are called the elders of the Church of the Middle Ages, treated this religion step by step as Bluebeard treated his wives, that is to say, put them into derision and changed all their beauty and charm, that is already quite a different matter. In general, you must know that all the great genuine religions which have existed down to the present time, created, as history itself testifies, by men of equal attainment in regard to the perfecting of their pure reason, are always based on the same truths. The difference in those